Hello everyone, how are you? Hope you all in a good condition today. Here, we are going to share the result of our discussion about analyzing the poem entitled The Man He Killed by Thomas Hardy. But before that, let me introduce the members of Group 3 that consists of 5 students. They are Vincentia Ferer, Fuaad Satya Gunawan, Mary Christiana, Rasya Medina, and also Yohanes Bagas. So, without any further ado, let's get started.
The Man He Killed by Thomas Hardy. Had he and I but met by some old ancient inn, we should have sat us down to read, right many a nipperkin. With range as infantry, and staring face to face, I shot at him and he at me, and killed him in his place. I shot him dead because he was my foe. Just so my foe, of course he was. That's clear enough, although he thought he'd list perhaps, offhand like just as I was out of work, had sold his traps, no other reason why. Yes, queen and curious warriors, you shoot a fellow down. You treat if mad where any bodies, or help to half a crowd.
Okay, now I want to answer the question. The first question is, what is the poem about? The poem is about the speaker's experience while he was in war. And the question number 2 is, who is the speaker and to whom he is speaking? The speaker of this poem is a soldier who has returned from a war as a survivor. He is speaking to the reader. Question number 3 is, what kind of poem is it? The kind of this poem is a lyric poem because this poem expresses the writer's feeling about war, and this poem doesn't have a plot like narrative poem. And the question number 4 is, what is the theme of the poem? The theme of the poem is the senselessness or illogical of war. The poem argues that war is senseless, tragic, and brutal, and it's served by the one of the soldier's perspective.
And I will continue to answer the questions. Do you find any figurative language? Yes, we found, which is imagery, and the example is, and staring face to face, I shot at him and he at me. It's imagery because it made the readers imagine the situation. And the next question is, do you find any symbols? Explain them. Well, there's no symbols in this poem.
Okay, so is or are there any sound patterns? Identify them. So we already identify them. There are 3 sound patterns. The first point is rhyme. The rhyme is on stanza from the stanza 1 until 5. The pattern is A B A B. The second point is alliteration. For the alliteration, there was on the stanza 1, it was had he, and then the stanza 2, it was face face. And the last on the stanza 5, it was help half. Okay, so the last point, the assonance. Okay, there were 6 sentences. So the first sentence is kill him in his place. The assonant is I. The second sentence is was out of work, had sold his straps. The assonant is O. The third sentence, it is you shoot a fellow down. The assonant is O. The fourth sentence, we should have set us down to wet. The assonant is E. The fifth sentence, I shot at him and he at me. The assonant is I. And the last sentence that we found, just so my fault, of course he was. The assonant is O.
Okay, and now we're gonna tell you the paraphrase of the poem. In the first stanza, the speaker invites his audience to picture a scene. He speculates about an unnamed man referred to only as he. Had the speaker met this man in front of a British pub or tavern, he thinks the two might have sat down in companionship and had a few drinks together. By a stanza, wet or right mean a nipperkin. Here, the word nipperkin refers to a container holding a particular amount of alcohol, probably between an eighth to a half of a pint. Thus, the speaker implies two men might have been friends, drinking together and enjoying one another's company.
Yet, as the second stanza makes clear, a friendship is not to be. The speaker does not meet the other man near an ancient inn, but rather ranks as infantry, revealing that the speaker is a soldier, and the unknown man he speaks of is his enemy on the battlefield. The speaker recounts how, when they faced one another on the battlefield, he shot at the other man, even as the other man saw and shot at the speaker. Apparently, the speaker possessed the better aim or speed, for the other man fell down dead right where he stood.
In the third stanza, the speaker tries to justify his action, but men were just doing their duty. The speakers imply he shot the man in front of him because he was his enemy, and there was simply nothing else he could have done. The other man had to die, or it implied the speaker would have. The speaker doesn't appear completely convinced this reasoning. However, he tries to reassure himself that the situation was clear enough, but the stanza on a speculative note, with the speaker remarking, although.
In the fourth stanza, the speaker returns to the conjectures in the first stanza. Now, however, he considers the other man's life, speculating that he probably enlisted casually without thinking much about it, offhand like the sentence, just like he himself did. Perhaps the speaker wonders, the man needed the work, having already sold off all his straps, on the words belongings. The final line of the stanza emphasizes that enlisting is not always motivated by patriotism or devotion to a particular cause. For many people, and perhaps for the speaker himself, mundane needs like money and an occupation might be the only factors that lead one to become a soldier.
So, in the fifth stanza, the speaker sums up his reflection by concluding that war is quiet and curious. The speaker uses both of these words differently from their most common meanings. Quiet here means peculiar or unusual, while curious refers to something odd, strange, or unexpected. Yes, war is strange. The speaker muses. Under ordinary circumstances, one might treat a fellow man to drink in a bar or over a couple of shillings to him. In the sentences, help to half a crown. If he is in need on the battlefield, however, one is expected to shoot down that some man without any hesitation. Alright, thank you guys for watching these videos until end. I hope you can learn something by these videos. We are all from the group 3 saying thank you and bye bye.